Let's start with some good news and some bad news on our energy self-harm. Well, it's really all bad news as we continue to hurt ourselves with this push for renewable energy, but at least there's been a breakout of sense in one location. We were the first to tell you about the multi-billion-dollar plan to install offshore wind turbines off the South Australian coast near the Victorian border, where it'll send the power onshore to Victoria. And we introduce you to the crayfish fishermen who opposed the plan.
If it does go ahead and there is exclusion zones around there where, it's going to be pretty hard. It seems like they've just looked at a map of Australia and they've just gone, yep, we'll try that one because there's no other proposed wind farm there yet.
We also followed up with abalone fishers who opposed the project, and we told you how the Federal Climate and Energy Minister Chris Bowen refused to visit the area to talk to the locals. But we spoke with the local federal MP who took up the matter.
I anticipate, Chris, there'll be a lot more grief. This is just the beginning of it. And to what end? I mean, building infrastructure in the Southern Ocean would have to be nearly the most difficult environment in which to operate and manage infrastructure anywhere on Earth. 10-metre swells, next stop Antarctica. Surely this could only lead to higher and higher electricity bills. It's madness.
Well, the good news this week is that the South Australian Labor government has decided to oppose this offshore wind zone. They want renewable energy, sure, but they don't want it where it'll do environmental damage. Now, the trouble is these wind turbines are supposed to go into Commonwealth waters. The state government can't really stop them. But it would be a bold move, wouldn't it, for Canberra to overrule a state, a Labor state at that, on something like this. Stay tuned. Also, the renewables push. There are reports today of new costings that double the cost from $6 billion to $12 billion for the Snowy 2.0 pumped hydro project. Now, remember the project was announced by Malcolm Turnbull in 2017. It was supposed to cost just $2 billion back then, and it was supposed to be finished 2 years ago now.
I am a nation-building Prime Minister, believe me, and this is a nation-building project. These are big dreams in these mountains, real courage, a belief in the future, a confidence in Australia.
What a joke, eh, at our expense. We've told you before that the project is now unlikely to be finished by the end of this decade. And when you count transmission costs, it'll likely cost $20 billion, a bill, of course, that we'll all pay for.
I doubt the project itself will be built for $10 billion. Every time we've been on the edge of this thing, at least in the public domain, saying it's going to cost more. And every time we've underestimated, I think it may well cost more. And then the transmission that they have justified off the back of this project is another $10 billion. And who knows, that may well end up costing, more too.
Yeah, what an absolute disaster. They should cut our losses and scrap it. More renewable energy evangelism, costing a bomb and not providing power. What geniuses.
The previous government was told before the last election that Snowy was running late and over budget. They chose to hide it. I received the costings update yesterday, together with the other shareholding minister, Minister Gallagher. We'll take a little bit of time to work through it, but we'll release it publicly imminently.
Yeah, they'll take a bit of time to work through it, all right. Blackout Bowen, he reckons we're going to be a superpower, a renewable energy superpower. Lord help us. I'll show you more on that with Tim Blair later.